Are you thinking about buying or selling a home, or are a real estate professional and want to keep up with the Twin Cities' latest market news, stats, and trends? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and joining me, Danielle Germundson. Thank you for coming in. It's been a few months, I think, now, right?
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
Good
and then
seeing
Chad
you.
Priebe.
Yeah,
a
good
couple
seeing
weeks.
you both.
I think.
It's been a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, great seeing you guys.
And as
to see you.
promised, we did home buying mistakes last show with Jilly. So we're going to do home selling mistakes that we
Yes.
see. Can't believe, looking back, how many years it's been. I'm approaching 20 years in real estate now.
Wow.
And so
Nice.
That's
I've seen and experienced my fair share of home selling mistakes out there, and still see them today. I think I did a video a few weeks back, and it was just like addressing some common things that sellers will just, oh, this is not a big deal, and it's a huge deal. You
Yeah.
know,
It is.
and it really
Yep.
will affect price a lot.
Right.
We're going to get into that in our next segment. As always, if you really want to deep dive into the buying or selling process and a lot of the tips that we're going to talk about today, it's in our Smart Seller Guide. You can download that for free. Just go to TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com and click on publications, and you can get that. So
Absolutely.
just great advice there. And again, free.
Free.
Free, great advice.
Kirk, is there something this weekend?
There is. By the time probably most people are
That's
hearing
true.
this,
I
they'll
didn't
have
think of
about like one day
Yeah.
to get registered. But yeah, we have our smart home buyer and seller class, Arlington Hills Community Center, coming up Saturday the 27th here. Free class. Buyer class starts at 10:30. Seller class at 12:30. And again, that's free. So if you're catching this right away, you can register and get in for that. Want to talk a bit first, though, in this segment about where our market currently stands. We are in the middle of the summer market. What's really interesting this year is that if we look at last year at the pace of the marketplace, it took until September to get to that same spot, end of September. So things are a little quieter out there. And a lot of that quietness has to do with the inventory, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Total number of showings is down a little bit, and we can look at interest rates and say that's probably the lead cause to that piece of it. But it's the inventory of homes being up, just week over week, up 10%, almost 900 more listings in the Twin Cities area than looking back at the same time last year.
Wow.
3-month average is over 16% higher.
That smells like some opportunity.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And obviously we're doing the show about seller mistakes. And, if you're sitting there going, oh, wow, this doesn't sound like a great market to sell in. Well, there are nuances to our market, and it's important to make sure that you're discussing with your professional, your real estate professional, when is that right timing. But when we're talking about opportunity, one could look at, hey, do I do the buy first and then prep myself to sell in that early spring market?
Right.
And that could be a great possibility. Now, by the way, early spring market, January.
January.
Right?
Yeah.
January.
Mid-January.
Right?
Yep.
Right. So, and I always say time in real estate goes fast. Okay. Yeah. We're July going into August, eighth month of the year. Well, if it takes you 60, 90 days to find a home, 30 days to close on the home,
Right.
now you're closing November, December, moving out, getting your other house ready. The timing can actually align quite well
Yeah.
for a sale in
Yes.
January or February.
And when you close, you don't have your first payment due. So if you close in, let's say, September,
Yeah.
your first payment isn't due until November.
Right.
Right.
So you don't
Or
have a
close
huge
in October. I mean, I
Yeah.
have one I'm working on right now. We're talking October closing. I know that seems like a ways away. No, it's not
No.
really that
Not
far.
that far.
No, it's
August,
right around
September,
the corner.
there's October.
Right.
Yes.
So you when you start to really think about that timing, hey, if you can do that non-contingent purchase, plus it gives you all the time in the world to get your house ready. And we're going to deep dive into that in the next segment. But let's break down some of those numbers real quick of what we're seeing right at this point in time. So new listings into the marketplace, jumping up week over week, goes from 917 out of 4th of July week into the following at 1,640 new listings. Now, the important thing here isn't so much that jump, because that's kind of normal after a holiday. It's the amount of new listings in comparison to last year. Last year was 1,565. This year, 1,640. So more listings coming into that marketplace. On the same hand, pending sales lower, right? So looking week over week, last year, 1,075. This year, 909.
Okay.
Right. So, another big spread there, ultimately having that inventory continuing to rise, as mentioned, up over 10%.
Okay.
So, it's last year it was 8,072, and now it's 8,905. So the opportunity, to your point, is for buying. Right.
Correct.
Right. And we saw this last year, and we saw a lot of smart sellers jumping on this.
Yes.
They bought in November, December.
Yeah.
And then got the good buys. At that point, rates were down a little bit. And I think we may be lining ourselves up for another environment like that. Obviously, time will tell.
I agree as well.
But you could set yourself up for that purchase sooner rather than waiting. Get that good buy and then put it out on the marketplace to maximize sale price.
I love
It's
it.
all about timing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So inventory up. So that is putting our showings per listing out there right now for sellers that are thinking about going to the market or actively. Showings per listing average 3.57 per week in the 250 to 500 price range. You go higher than that, that number's lower.
Right.
Right. So 3.57 showings, right? That's not a ton of activity
No.
out there. So not doing these mistakes that we're going to talk about is going to be really key to making sure you're not getting victimized by the market conditions that are out there.
Right.
Because it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
houses that go into multiple offers right now. I'm talking about averages,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And, average is not, showering half your body, not showering the other half, right? You've heard that analogy before, right? So somebody is fully getting clean and somebody's not, right? That's the average. So if you do the right things, you're going to sell quickly and you're going to maximize price. If you make the mistakes, you're going to pay the price with that.
Correct.
So, ultimately market meter right now, 4.16. That's on the very edge of balanced market. And we're coming in to that buyer's market range. I know I mentioned interest rates. Interest rates are at about 7% right now.
Right.
We do see little boosts of activity as that goes down. But when we come back, we're going to deep dive into that selling mistakes. We're going to go through a whole bunch of tips there that should be able to help you maximize that value. Again, check us out. Any questions, show ideas, and for our free home buyer and seller guide, TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. And as you mentioned, those couple free classes we have coming up, you can click on the classes link for that as well. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Kirk Duckwall here again with the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, and James Tufson with the Preserve Group. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Chad, in the break here, had mentioned something I thought was really important. We're talking about the market being a little bit slower, but keep in mind, although sale prices aren't at their absolute peak for peak time of year right now, they aren't far off, right? Summer market, although slower, because of the quality of inventory that's out there, even though it might be a little bit more inventory, we still see sale prices at a pretty decent price point.
Yeah,
right?
very
Right.
competitive.
Very.
And so for somebody who just maybe isn't comfortable doing the non-contingent purchase, or they have to sell first before they can buy, although you might not be getting absolute top dollar, instead of getting the full $10, you're getting $9.89.
Right.
Right. Very little different, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That you have the power on the purchase side, and you be making up for that as well.
Huge.
Especially
Yeah, better.
for your lateral buyers, right? Okay, you sell maybe not right at peak. Well, you're purchasing right not at peak, right?
Right.
So you're there for the lateral, and then if you're going up in price point, hey, I'm going to get something a little bit bigger. Okay, maybe you're not right at peak, but you're also getting that. And when we're talking percentages, that's should be a better savings for you.
Yes.
at that
Better deal.
point. So
Yeah. Yep.
it is, yes, as nice as it is to time it out so you can purchase now and sell in that January or February. We understand that that's not everybody's situation, and you can still leverage these if done right. And
Yes.
so a lot of the tips that
Huge.
we're going to talk about, they're important in any market condition, but we really wanted to hit on these especially because in slower market conditions, as a seller, they're going to impact you more,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
So starting off, I wanted to start out with outside.
Okay.
So often, people will put the focus on prepping the inside of the house.
Yes.
And my brother always put it great that the showing starts right as they open the door and start walking to the home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when
Right.
the showing starts.
When they're getting out of their car.
When they're getting out of their car.
Right.
So are the sidewalks edged? Is there any trash, toys, debris
Right.
that's around the property that should be picked up or disposed of?
Right.
Right.
Is the lawn looking good, freshly cut?
I
you
hope
know?
so.
Fresh mulch
Yep.
is huge. Painted rails is another.
Rolled
huge-
up hoses.
Rolled up hoses.
Trash
Yes.
cans around to the side.
Some nice flowers out front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
make
point.
it cheerful.
I know as realtors, you guys always say, make sure that door is easy to open.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, little WD-40.
Little
Yes.
WD-40.
Yeah.
If your agent's struggling to get in and then all of a sudden it opens with the loud squeak or, it sounds
Yeah.
like it's breaking, that might be a turn off right away.
Right.
Yeah, think of
Absolutely.
it like you're going to test drive a car and it's
Right. Probably not the
Right,
best
yeah,
option.
yeah.
You're probably going to go look
You
for a different
want-
one.
Also, if your furnace is making that noise or
Right.
AC, you might want to
wanna
have it
get
looked
it-
at.
Yeah.
So, actually, I'm going to just jump right into that because that is a valid point. That if you want to really prep your house well, having a fresh tune-up on cleaning on the furnace, so there isn't a bunch of
Yes.
dust, debris on the top of the furnace, making funny sounds as the fan is running.
Right.
Same with the AC, right? And then a fresh certificate. So, somebody like Owens or Bonfi or Centerpoint or whoever you're using to do that, it's good to have that done. And a lot of times you can have it done for like 99 or 120,
Yeah.
150 bucks, whatever.
Totally worth the money.
But it's also showing the home inspector that buyer hires that's inspecting your home that you have for sale. It's also showing them that you take care of it. They see that fresh sticker, like you mentioned. The furnace is
New
clean.
filter.
New filter,
filter,
right?
yeah.
So that's just a good impression and a pretty easy thing to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So it'll help you with that inspection. I know it's a little ahead of where we're at, but yeah, I mean, you want to have everything, including the exterior to the mechanicals, showing well. Declutter, right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
Big
is
one.
important. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people struggle with this. Either it's like, well, I don't want to do all this in case the house doesn't sell. Well, if you are getting an honest opinion from a good real estate agent and you're okay with that price, that house is going to sell.
It's going to
Yes.
sell.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably in multiple offers.
Yeah, I mean,
Correct.
if
Yeah.
you're doing the right things and getting it ready, it's going to sell, right? I want to do my job when somebody hires me.
Yep.
And my job is to sell your house.
Right.
So decluttering is you're going to be doing it anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So why not start early and help improve the sale price of your home?
Right.
And can't you put that stuff in your garage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depersonalize it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Rubbermaid tubs.
Yes,
Yep,
they're
get
the
it going.
best.
So decluttering, that's a big one. I mean, I look at it and where I see most of the fatal errors in selling, it's decluttering, general cleanliness, Yep.
That's huge.
and then like the flooring, right?
Yep.
That giant stain on the carpet or the
Yeah.
pet stain, the smell or whatever.
Yep.
That in presentation it just does not show right.
No.
And so often you'll get people, well, can't I just do a carpet credit? Well, you can if you're okay with not only giving a carpet credit of $5,000, but also your house is still going to sell for $15,000 less.
Yeah.
Because it's like trying to sell a Ferrari with a rusty door. Oh, I'll give you a door credit.
Right. Right.
Right? You
Oh,
know,
seriously,
Exactly.
that it's that simple.
Right.
Well, really.
Yeah, it's
if
just,
you look
it's
at it
not
that
going to
way.
show well.
No.
Right? So
A clean house really does sell for thousands of dollars more. Than,
tens.
Yeah. Oh, it
of
just.
thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Because
Yeah.
people come in, they'll smell clean, and they'll automatically think that it's clean.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like at top par.
Right.
I mean, if they can smell it, they're going to think it's clean too.
It's like going to your job interview. Are you going to
Yes.
show up in holy jeans and a cut-off T-shirt, or are
Right.
you going to probably take a shower, shave,
Impressions are the best.
Yeah. I had a question for both of you guys. So if I have if I know somebody that's selling, and maybe they have a disability, right, or maybe they just don't have time to do some of the stuff we're talking about, do you guys as agents have connections that you can set people up with to
Absolutely.
take care of maybe some yard work
Yes.
or painting or carpet or
Yeah,
stuff
they're
like
Yeah, I
that?
have a
contractor.
full vendor list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are selling and you have some concerns because of that, just talk to your agent. They have a wealth of knowledge with this stuff.
And I know
resources.
certain things, some of my vendors will take payment upon sale, or at least
Right.
partial
That's
payment upon
huge.
sale,
That's
right?
huge.
Yeah, yeah, because people are like, wait, I don't have the money to
Right.
do this. So
I
that's,
had an
that's a big
interesting
deal.
one. Now, you're going to have to go back in time with me. Step into the DeLorean. Put yourself in about 2009, where houses are easily selling
yeah.
in the 100,000 price point, especially like where our office is,
Yep.
West 7th neighborhood, and that's exactly where this house was. And so we looked at a property, and we kind of priced it out at if they were to sell it in the condition it was in, and it was about $90,000.
Okay.
By investing about $9,000 into it, we got them over $140,000.
For 9,000.
$9,000.
Yeah. No brainer
Great
to me.
return.
Right, and I just had one. Let's take that time machine back, where would have gotten about. I just want to make sure I do this right. About $490.
Okay.
Right, putting 20 in, ended up getting them $575.
Wow. That's
That's
a great $20,000 upfront investment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Show me how to do that, will you, Kirk? That sounds great.
So yeah, I mean, putting some money. Now that one actually was a deferred payment, so they didn't have to come up with all the money right away. Right. So it's taking the time, having the conversations. If that works for you, and we understand not everybody. It's just sell it, be done. Don't care about the money. But I have found that a lot of people, if it's actually easy and not stressful,
Right.
yeah, they'll take that and get the work done.
Yeah.
Sure.
When they don't have to figure out each step of that process.
Right.
All right. Let's see here. We talked about the clean. We kind of talked about the pet stain. But I think even if you have pets, make sure during the showings that take the pets out.
Take them with you.
Good idea.
Yeah. It's a safety thing
Yeah.
too.
I just want to take a quick minute, if you guys don't mind. I want to talk about the exit strategy when you sell your home, right?
Yes.
Because it's a little overwhelming for a lot of people when it comes to the dollar amount, the dollar signs that you see.
Right.
Kirk had mentioned non-contingent. So if you're a seller and you're wondering how you're going to purchase your next home and not sell your current home, make sure you're getting ahead of that question and talking to your real estate professional and loan officer. There's programs out there. One in particular is called a recast, where you can put minimum 5% down on the purchase and keep your current home, and then when you sell, you take the proceeds and apply that towards a larger down payment on the new. But just have a plan in place, you guys, because I know this can seem overwhelming, right? We
Right.
talk about updating your home, doing all this work and stuff. Just reach out,
Right.
ask the questions, and just know we have the answers for you.
And that you have a solid plan in place.
A plan, the plan that we talk about often is so crucial to your success. That
Yeah.
And nowadays more than ever, and I think one thing I wanted to talk about was if you are a seller out there, Kirk mentioned is 3 point something showings per week.
3.57, I think.
It's minimal, right? If we look at it that way. Just think of this though. Don't let that scare you away. Know that the buyers that are in the market today are serious.
Yes.
They've probably been beat up with this market over the last 3 years. They're just looking for a good place to move into
Right.
that they can start building their net wealth in. So just know serious buyers are in the market today.
And again, it's that, average, right? It's 3.57, but it's going to be front end loaded. That a lot of the properties are getting 9, 10,
right?
and then some of them are getting 1.
Correct.
Right.
So it's an average, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
So that if you prep it right and it shows right. So I know we mentioned earlier about, the nice thing is if you're trying to time this, especially for a January kind of sale timeline, that it allows you to start early. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they wait until they find that house that they want. They don't go, hey, I'm thinking of moving. Maybe I should start getting my house ready. So then when I do find the house that I want,
That
right,
you can jump.
that
on
you
it.
can jump, you're ready,
Right.
you're not going to have this long delay. That also allows you to find what to focus on.
Yes.
Putting money, and we were talking about putting money into
Yes.
the wrong things,
Right. Yeah.
spending
That's a big deal.
$20,000 on landscaping when that's not where you needed to
No.
spend it.
Right.
And so, like if you look at where, like with that house that we just did, where that money went, it went into carpet, it went into paint, it went into a little siding, like repair and painting,
Okay.
a little cabinetry work.
Backsplashes are
yeah.
a big thing. It pulls
Yeah.
in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trim work, getting
Trim.
some stuff that
Yeah.
was, beat up, taken
Sure.
care of. Not kitchen remodels,
No.
not bathroom remodels, not new decks, not giant landscaping, not new roofs, right? Now, I'm not
Yep.
saying that sometimes those things don't need to be addressed, but by having a professional out early to go through and say, this is where you should focus your time.
Right.
When I do a walkthrough, I do a list.
Yes.
And I'll say, start here, work your way down. Don't just go to here because it's easy. Because if
Okay.
you go to here because it's easy and skip this,
Right.
you just wasted your money on that. Because this only does good if you do this,
Right.
Okay.
right?
That
Yep.
makes sense.
And you
Yeah.
and I would rather have you do this and skip everything else
Mm-hmm.
than do this, but not that. Because,
Right.
You have to prioritize.
You have to prioritize.
Yeah.
It's key.
It is.
Kirk represented a family member of mine, and they were previous smokers and didn't, kept the house really clean, but
Yep.
never updated anything throughout the 40 years they owned the
Sure.
house. So Kirk was really black and white. He says, "Here's the deal: you paint, put some carpet in here, and just kind of make it a little more fresh, and you get about another 10, 15 grand, right?"
Right.
At this point, my family member had some health issues, so they didn't decide to do it that way. But this is to my point, is like those cosmetic things like carpet and paint will gain you that much more in proceeds.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's, again, if it
It's
feels
well-
overwhelming, just reach out to your team and they'll be able to connect you
Yeah,
with
we
people
can
that do
orchestrate
that.
it.
Yes.
We can
It
orchestrate
really
it.
Yes.
I mean, with
Yes.
that big jet or the $20,000 one, my guy went over there, got the different subcontractors, figured out everything, just came forward to my client. Here's what we're looking at, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So easy peasy,
Cool.
no arranging.
I like it.
So, kind of lastly, wanted to touch on this, but first, because I had a little blank earlier. We were talking about smells,
Yes.
Ooh.
and just
That's a
to
big one.
That's big.
show how powerful smell can be,
Mm-hmm.
is I've seen houses where they've done the fresh paint and they've done the new carpet, but see. New carpet can kind of have, when it's brand new, almost a pet.
Off-gassing.
Well, yeah, it can
Yeah.
almost smell like a pet smell or a smoking smell, right? It's there because of the chemicals,
Oh,
the
sure.
glues and all of that.
Yeah.
So you can have a perfectly clean house, but if there's a funky smell,
Yeah.
you gotta get rid of that.
Yes.
Because that will put people off.
And
Yeah,
don't
for
use
sure.
the Glade plugins.
Well, that's
'cause
yeah.
you
I mean,
know
that's
you're-
that's a
yeah,
cover up.
don't do that.
That's a
That's
cover up.
cover up, and it smells like a cover
Oh,
up.
it does. You know right away what are they covering
Yeah.
up with the
And
Glade plugin. Yeah.
Minnesota, we can open up our windows and enjoy some of this nice fresh,
Yeah, air it
fresh air
out.
coming in
Yes.
and out, right?
Yeah, and there are ways to deal with with a smoker house, even if you're not going to repaint it, just to help. But trying to neutralize those smells is just so important. But the last thing I really wanted to touch on is overpricing and bad timing,
Yes.
Oh, crucial.
especially if you combine the two
Yes.
of them.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned, you are still in a market where you can achieve a decent price, but we are in a market where things are slowing down. And as the market slows, the peak prices start to decrease. And if you overshoot, you're chasing.
Yep.
Yes.
Chasing,
It's not gonna
chasing. And you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So what's going to happen?
You're going
There's
to
a-
sit on the market. Buyers are going to think, what's
wrong with it?
Yep.
That's the first thing that
That's
they'll
a
say.
costly price tag right there.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think you might even have a formula on that, Kirk. Like how much you lose and
Yeah,
money.
the average is, again, average.
Correct.
Right.
The average is 0.1% for every day
Okay.
you're on the market. So if in 10 days, you will get about 1% less than the homes that are selling in a day or two.
At the list price or more.
Yeah,
Right.
10 days, 1% less. 20 days, 2% less, right? And this adds up as the time goes on.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing to get that data is we're looking in a given area over a set period of time and looking at all the houses in that area that sold in 1 day.
Okay.
All
Right.
the houses in that area that sold in 2 days. All the houses 3, 4, 5, and then looking at those averages, and
Yes.
seeing where how that price point moves.
Okay.
But yeah, it works out to be about every 10 days 1% less that you're going to get on the house. Well, I mean 1% on a $400,000 home, $4,000.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yep.
It
lot of
adds
money.
up quick.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
end up 30 days on market, 40 to 50, right?
And you see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see it a lot to
Yeah.
this day. I mean, I'm seeing the price drops, and there's a lot of stuff that goes with that. So
pricing appropriately out of the
Yeah.
gate and making
Yes.
sure you're doing the right things. It's a combination. Pricing appropriately and then timing, right?
Yes.
Putting a house on the market right when the state fair is starting, not a great idea.
No.
Don't do that.
Yeah, wait
No.
until
Or
the
around the
second
holidays.
second
Yep.
week in September.
Yeah.
Right? That's way better.
Yes.
Right? You start out right in the beginning of August, or you take a break. You take that more prep time. You do have this window of opportunity typically. Now, being an election year, I would stay away from the latter half of October and into November because it's birds chirping. Unless
Yeah.
you're buying.
Yeah.
Great time to be out buying.
Great
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
That's
right.
when the deals
That's
are.
when the deals will be.
And that's a great time to cash in on that.
Yep.
Yes.
I've always said, election year or not, September through December to me is the best time.
Well,
again, I know we're talking
it
about
changes.
selling.
It's so interesting how that fluctuates.
Yeah.
Look back a few years, the slowest month was September.
Yeah.
It got faster in October, faster in November, and even faster in December, right?
Head scratcher.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you go to last year, and it was like Thanksgiving week.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I have noticed, a lot of people think that the slowest time of year is December. Historically, it's actually more November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to jump in and beat the market.
Sure.
and so they get in December.
Yeah, I could see that because Thanksgiving and it's kind of the start of the holiday season. Let's say, right.
Snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa! What did you just say?
The S word. All right. Well, I'm getting the 20 minutes on this segment signal, so I think we're gonna wrap this show up.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming in,
Thank
Danielle and
you.
Chad.
Seeing you both.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Get
This
our
was
free
fun.
guide.
Please
Check it
do.
out.
Yes.
And if you have
Yes.
any questions, reach out. Happy to help
Please do.
answer those, and happy to do walkthroughs and give you our thoughts on how to get ready.
Yes.
So have a good one. Kirk Duckwall here again with the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, and James Tufson with the Preserve Group. Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.